Hello and welcome to this week's stream. It's again on a Thursday because I have a lot of stuff to do on Fridays lately. So it's my birthday today, so I'm kind of extra optimistic to start off the year with some content for all of you, especially while I wasn't able to do a lot of short form content and explanation videos lately. I will be back on that. I have a new content plan, which I worked on. And what will we do today? So I have my screen somewhere. Let me find my screen first. So, okay, there we go. Good. Okay. So I have mainly like two topics which are more news, and third topic we will, as always, go back into our concept thing. I think we will quickly talk about last week. I will show you one cool thing I was able to achieve yesterday. And because I had some evening hours I spent again on AI. Traffic's new models and tools. Microsoft's Copilot announcements for Copilot agents. I'll find the article because this looks promising, and Microsoft finally delivers on sufficient tooling, because I think they were lacking in that department. And then Anthropic dropped new models which are awesome, at least on paper, because the 3.5 Haiku is not testable yet. And then we have computer use, which I was trying to set up yesterday for the stream, and unfortunately wasn't able to. As far as I understood, they have like a demo environment which even spins up a Linux machine. But I think dabbling around with that would be too technical, and I, as always, don't want to get too far into the weeds in the streams. But and I have basically like let's bring it on here. O1 programming showcase, because I had used them in conjunction, basically, O1 and the new Anthropic model. So that's where we are at. Hope it's big enough for you all. Cool. So let's start. Let me bring up the chat here, just in case. And I'll check quickly if we are actually live on LinkedIn. Why is the Microsoft Copilot agent stuff so interesting? I think, it's more or less the thing that I always like. I meet Microsoft Germany officials and executives like several times a year. And every single time I'm with them and I'm like, why don't you go for a bit of autonomy? And finally they delivered them some tooling with basically a combination of what they have with Flow and Copilot Studio. So I think what about Copilot agents? I cannot, unfortunately, test this myself yet. I think there is the Ignite in some weeks or something, the big Microsoft event, where they released that stuff. So we'll definitely dive in and see what we can do with that. I'm also thinking about bringing up some more complex cases which are narrowed down by itself, so we don't have to have like that large of concepts which are so like heavily abstract like the previous ones were. And so that's a bit of a plan for the next weeks. I even thinking about streaming 2 times a week. Just there's so much I want to talk about and so much useful stuff. And additionally, like sometimes having some news which are actually relevant for businesses also, yeah, would make the cut. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's start. New autonomous agent at scale. Your team like never before. Like we are going into a future now, more and more, and with something like Copilot agents being like readily available and to a huge amount of people and to a huge amount of experts. Two things will happen. First of all, people will get easy contact to it. Like everyone who has Copilot Studios now can dabble around with agents and create more complex AI solutions. They still have limitations as far as I understood, but yeah, it's the right step in the right direction, because that's like what held me back. Like I'm a Microsoft partner for 5 years now, or even longer. Wasn't the whole time I was on by myself. Yeah, but at least for my company is for like Microsoft partner for 5 years. I have a lot of stuff. I could even like from January get like some benefits through my partner status, or I can buy benefits. That's the right way to say it. I don't have Copilot because I don't see any value for me, because I don't have a big team or something. I have some people I work with. We use Teams, and therefore I need like my 5 Office licenses. But like having Copilot for me would be waste, basically. That being said, the like seamless graph integration that Microsoft has on the Copilot side is tempting. It's nothing you can't build yourself. Like you can spin up an app with an authentication and register an app in Azure, and that app can have basically all the permissions you want it to have, and then it can read your emails or write on your behalf on Teams and stuff. So that's not as far-fetched, and it's not even that difficult to set up, because like you have basically every auth provider gives you the access to Microsoft login, like it's social login through OAuth. And as soon as you have the token and you request the right scopes, and your app is actually eligible for requesting the scopes, which is set up in the app registration on Azure, you're good to go. And you can use the graph as well as Microsoft does. So, but yeah, I assume they have done a lot under the hood. Last year, November, I talked to some developers that worked actively on Copilot, which was a bit discouraging, like from how far they've gone. But honestly, what happened over the last 12 months, I think they put in the work and they did a lot to bring their UI for AI, how they call it, to the people. And thinking about like Microsoft being in basically every enterprise company in the world, mostly. They're in a pretty good spot to bring AI to the masses. Okay, let's dive in. So, I think I didn't. 2 things. I said two things happened. Like the one thing, like readily accessible. The second thing is people will build knowledge about stuff and will test out stuff, will break stuff, and this gets back so much feedback that's highly valuable. Like with every product, you have to get it out to the people, have to get it in the random hands, basically, so they can break it, and that's a good thing. So when they break it, you can fix it and get an even better product. So and that's why it's also, people are complaining sometimes about Microsoft pushing stuff that hard, and I get that. And also the marketing they provide is hugely overblown sometimes. And sometimes what they present is highly understated. So we're like in this weird field right now where we have like people over and underestimating AI at the same time because they just don't get the topic. And all the marketing and the overblown marketing around AI doesn't help at all. One reason we do the streams here, because I would love to show like how to really try to have my thoughts and how I see it, which I tend to make use of it to leverage AI pretty well, especially lately. That's where we have to get a base understanding what this technology is, what it can and what it can't do, because there is still a lot it can't do. We will look at some Claude, like Anthropic graphs they provided too, which are quite interesting, which is not shining all positive lights on LLMs and agent solutions and stuff. So yeah, and that's also the thing. Like, I'm really curious how this will work out in the end. Okay, so Copilot agents, you already see like you got a new agents tab, and that's something they showed in the demo. Like they had a lot of agents already. I think they have 10 agents even pre-prepared for Dynamics, and they worked with, I think it was one of the big consulting firms. Was it like Boston Consulting, McKinsey, some like one of the big consulting firms, and they worked with them and created like different use cases and tested them broadly. And I think they delivered some templates on that. So yeah. So Microsoft says already 60% of the Fortune 500 are using Microsoft Copilot. So like that's what I said. Like enterprises basically all have Microsoft, and like 60% of them, like 3 out of these in the Fortune 500 have Copilot already like bought. Doesn't say the scale and stuff, but yeah, you get what I want to say. Like Microsoft is like in B2B, it's like really the presence is immense. So to accelerate business results, blah blah. Lumen Technologies projects $50 million in saving annually. I would love to see the calculation on that, honest, because like, is it just employees you save, new hires you save? Like how do they calculate that? Is it like less errors you make and therefore lose less money on that? Like, yeah, would be nice. Honeywell equates productivity gains to adding 178 full-time employees. Oh, that's actually a good number. And Finastra is reducing creative production time from 7 months to 7 weeks. Well, that's huge. This is like, I like the last one, to be honest, because what is Finastra doing, first of all? Financial software solutions. We enable financial institutions to unlock the power of open finance. Okay, I don't have a clue what open finance is, but it doesn't look like. But yeah, that is the big company. Yeah. 2017. Interesting. Okay. So, and they did reduce creative production time from 7 months to 7 weeks. What is referring to? Is it like internal marketing? Because like the first read, I thought it's like delivering to customers in 6-7 weeks instead of 7 months, which is like, I love everything that like has these kind of things. Like you met like the same. We do a workshop now for teams to overcome quickly all the hurdles we had when we were building Timeless AI, and yeah, just try to take something to a production level, which like had tons of learnings. Also talked today to some young AI expert who was really, really knowledgeable about this, and then like reinforces me in my belief that there is some really, really good knowledge out there, and we have to get this packaged in a way that a broader audience can use it. That said, I have a community project. I think I'll launch it on Monday, if I'll, latest on 1st of November, I guess. But yeah, I'll try to launch it on Monday, where yeah, I'll try to spin up something where we have like concentrated knowledge about advanced technologies and stuff, and yeah, also all the streams will be linked there and stuff. So yeah, I hope you'll join me, and I'm really looking forward to see that. Okay, but yeah, Microsoft has some cases. I'm not sure, like, if 60% of Fortune 500, like, they have really big and knowledgeable names. So I think they still evaluating stuff, because I think Honeywell is pretty known. Lumen Technologies, never heard of them. Finastra, never heard of them. But yeah, these are actual gains, I guess. And I would love to see the calculations, by the way. Maybe I can ask some like, I'm on a Microsoft supported conference for the business software in November. like in 2 weeks from now, and I'll definitely ask them about all of this. So today we are announcing new agentic capabilities that will accelerate these gains and bring AI first business process to every organization. First, the ability to create autonomous agents with Copilot Studio will be in public preview next month. So that's what we're waiting for. Second, we're introducing 10 autonomous agents, yeah, that's what I said, into Dynamics 365 to build capacity for every sales, service, finance, and supply chain team. Okay, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to what this is, how basic it will be, because I think it has to be. We will see this, I think next week I'll prepare something, because I'm building up a demo right now for an on-site event I will attain. So, and yeah, I'll actually have something to show you too, how we are limited at the moment, but also what is possible at the moment with AI agents. And the one thing I'm worried about most is like consistency. So you have to really narrow down and customize the specific case. And if you have pre-built autonomous agents, I'm really curious how they will look. But we will see it shortly. Copilot is your AI assistant. It works for you, and Copilot Studio enables you to easily create, manage, and connect agents to Copilot. Think of agents as the new apps for an AI-powered world. Every organization will have a constellation of agents ranging from simple prompt and response to fully autonomous. Yeah, like prompt and response, what we have now, and it's a really passive way to use AI, right? So you have to prompt it, and it reacts to what you give. Like, but it would be a lot nicer, for example, if I have something that like analyzes every email that get to my inbox and just reacts on it, creates a new contact, creates a new deal in my CRM, stuff like that. Would be a lot more helpful. Raising a prompt fully autonomous. They will work on behalf of an individual, team, or function to execute and orchestrate business processes. Copilot how you'll interact with these agents, and they'll do everything from accelerating lead generation and processing sales orders to automating supply chain. Cool. Especially lead gen, I'm interested in that. Will it send automatic emails? Will it be connected to LinkedIn, which would be really nice because Microsoft has, like, LinkedIn is part of Microsoft. I would love to see that. Let's quickly scroll through. I don't want to read the whole article. But yeah, McKinsey it was. McKinsey is creating an agent that will speed up the client onboarding process. The pilot showed lead time could be reduced by 90% and administrative work reduced by 30%. Yeah, I'll get that definitely, because what is an onboarding process? An onboarding process basically gives you every instructions and all the basic overview about your new workplace and or about the project or about whatever that is you're doing. And I think like it's no-brainer, right? Because you have a lot of data which has to be presented in a structured form, and people, in best case, are able to ask questions, which now can be done with AI. And it's not like erasing the human out of the loop completely. It's more of like I can have access to the onboarding like 24/7. It is patient to the max. So like it won't be mad for me not understanding what it's trying to explain me. Which I think is also something that education will benefit from pretty soon. That we have like not only teachers that can adapt to every learning, like to every student individually and to the language the student needs to understand it, but we will be able to actually, be more, patient with the student if he doesn't get it right in the first step, because in the end, is my camera freezed? Oh, I think my camera froze. Let me quickly get this. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sorry for that. Life is life. Quickly switch that. Video. Okay. Okay, we're back. Sorry for that. Didn't notice it early enough. But yeah, this I had this back in the day, I remember, with the cam link that it just kept and stuck sometimes. Okay. Sorry for that. So back to McKinsey onboarding. Yeah. So patience and access to the information, access 24/7 to someone explaining you stuff. So yeah, no brainer. Of course, it will reduce stuff by a big margin. Thomson Reuters built a professional grade agent to speed up the legal due diligence workflow with initializing testing showing some tasks could be done in half the time. It's so abstract. But the due diligence workflow, I think it's like contract checking, right? I have a lot of requests about that lately. Like people really look forward to get this automated. I will help a customer actually achieve this in their, or potential customer, actually achieve this in their solution. So really looking forward to that one. But yeah, everything that's at least to big parts structured, like legal documents, is even better for AI to digest and to check against templates and rules and rule sets. So yeah, really same thing here. It's a no-brainer, basically. We have a sales qualification agent. I talked about this in a short. So if you have something that qualifies your leads, you have more efficient sales team, because they, without doing a lot of research, which then leads to you wasting your time because you find out, okay, the lead is basically not qualified, I won't call them. You skip all that. You let the AI qualify the lead, make a web research. All doable today and was already doable half a year ago. You qualify them, you order them based on quality, and you can basically go from top to bottom, and you have like your closing rate will go up. You can call more because you have to invest less in research, and yeah, that's highly effective. And even if you don't increase your leads and your lead, even if you don't increase your lead quality or like your sales closing rate, you still will increase the amount of people you can call because you have to waste less time on research. So only based on that, you already will have an increase in sales, just from the getting away with the mundane tasks. Supplier communications agent. That's also cool. This agent enables customers to optimize their supply chain and minimize cost disruptions by honestly tracking supplier performance, detecting delays, and responding accordingly, freeing procurement teams from time-consuming manual monitoring and firefighting. Interesting. That's especially like if you have a production company, and I worked a lot with production companies in my career. So if you have a production company, you are really dependent sometimes on when parts arrive and when you can schedule production, and because like you always aim for 100% production time on every machine, because you bought the machine for a lot of money, so it has to work to get the money back in, right? So you want to have as little downtime as possible, while also having people working and producing the parts, and also like the other way around. Like if you know, okay, we will not be able to produce, then we can schedule maintenance windows to then like maintain the machine, like change roles and like materials and stuff, and just the usual maintenance you have to do because stuff is getting produced, stuff is getting used, and stuff breaks if you don't maintain it. So, and you don't want to break. If it breaks, it costs a lot more time than just maintaining it in the first place. So that's all stuff where you're highly dependent on your suppliers delivering properly, and you have people, teams, like huge teams in the purchasing department of your company, which are basically going all about like, where's the delivery, what are the delivery dates, where's the planning. Like, there are a gazillion planning tools out there which try to automate stuff. Like, I know at least one startup in the logistics. They basically built their whole multi-million-dollar startup on just like this part, like getting the logistics right. Yeah, cool. Interesting to see that they have a pre-built solution, because this is also pretty individual. So I'm curious how this would look like. Customer intent and customer knowledge management agents. Yeah, okay, that's basically already like, you have a ton of solutions, including our timeless AI solution, which tries to repurpose existing knowledge and derive also knowledge from conversations and stuff. So yeah, really interesting. But I think the first two are a lot more interesting and a lot more business oriented and will have a lot more impact. So if you're using Dynamics 365 and you have Copilot, as soon as this is out, like, take a look at it. If it's really like click deploy and then just some setup, you will benefit from it. Like, there is basically no way around it. If not, come to our streams and I'll try to help you out with that. So yeah, I think that's mostly it. I don't want to watch the videos, like check Microsoft's blog article. They have some videos where the show also flows. You can also see a presentation from I think Satya Nadella was showing some stuff of, like, not live showing, but like explaining things. Pretty cool. I'm really hoping that they get sufficient tooling for everything, because right now Copilot lacks a lot of tooling which you would need to get more and better results. And you have, like I always say, like, you have to reach a certain percentage point of correct answers and good answers to actually get enough value that people will use it. So, and for example, AI coding agents, I love them. I even developed some like anti-patterns to, like, because I don't want to code myself anymore. Because for me, coding was always a means to an end, so I can build applications now. Like, someone does the coding for me and I love it. I just like instruct it and it does the work for me. It's awesome. But also, like, you have all these moments again and again. If stuff gets more complex, it sometimes gets stuck in a loop and just is not able to fix an error. Then you have to restart the conversation. You have to go in, and sometimes it just has like weird behaviors. You try to get them out with a system prompt, or in the cursor IDE you can create a rule set. And yeah, this is like, you always, like I say again and again, are in the position that you're not really saving a lot of time, because you have to get through all these loops, and then, like, when you get stuck, sometimes you get stuck really hard, and you would have been better off to program it yourself in the first place. So, and all these things, like, they get better. Every model release, especially from Anthropic lately, gets closer. And O1 also got us a lot closer to a world where we can have more complex solutions that are like built by simple prompts. But still, like, did I save like a huge amount of time lately, considering how much time I had to spend learning all the stuff in the code generation and how the AI behaves? I would say no, but it's just a feeling. But that being said, all the learnings, they don't go away, right? So now I use the AI more efficiently. I set up some rules, I set up some boundaries, and now it's working even better. But that's only because I could customize it to how I need and how I talk, how I present to it. And I have all the tooling that I need, and I have basically full control over it, so I can change it. If Microsoft does not provide sufficient tooling in Copilot, all this will not be possible, and it just won't work. And you will, like, if you have insufficient tooling, if you had to forge a knife, and you only had a hammer, you would forge a long time. You can do it, but you'll forge a long time. Having a hydraulic press definitely will help you. So yeah, that's a more like handyman analogy. Okay, let's go to Claude, shall we? Claude, computer use, and 3.5 Sonnet. I think these, is there a block? Introducing next generation of Claude. Do they have a blog? No, well, let's just search for 3.5 Sonnet new, because the computer use I will save. Introducing 3.5 Sonnet. There we go. 3.5 Sonnet. Enhanced reasoning, state coding, scaled computer use, and 200K context window. I have this a lot. Like, I talk to people that were actually experts in AI, and they were like worrying about the context. And I always bring like one example I heard. I think, was it in an OpenAI conference? They said like the first book of the Harry Potter series is, if you like load it completely up, it's like 117,000 tokens, which is not even exhausting OpenAI's 128K. It won't exhaust the 200K, and definitely not the 2 million tokens context window of Google. That being said, it does not mean that this is like fully usable. Like there is actually a test which it's okay, but it's not like I think it's not getting to the core. There's like, it's called the needle in a haystack test. So if you have a large context, like for example, you get this whole Harry Potter book, and you put like one tiny information which does not belong there. Like you tell it something about quantum physics or something. And then you ask the LLM, like, find the one thing that does not belong here. And then the retrieval rate and the success rate to retrieve that one sentence is how, like, it's one measurement how you check if you're actually able to use a large context, right? And to give some more perspective, Claude, if you use the Claude, like ChatGPT competitor, behind that, say, okay, write me an article about AI transforms. So then it goes ahead and starts writing, but it does not write it in the chat. It opens up a window to the side. And then I have the article and I can work on it. ChatGPT has some canvas. But how OpenAI did it, like, it's still one chat, but they have like a huge system prompt, which is by itself already 8K, or like at 8,000 tokens, I think. Something around that. And that's with every request you send it, so that it even is able to do artifacts feature. So this is all done by the LLM. Like, that's not something which is like programmed hard in, but it's like a big system prompt, which goes even before your own system prompt. And then it generates it. And that's already 8K. So let me quickly bring it up. There we go. So someone leaked, and that's basically everything that's going on every request already, right? So it's, I think you copied it, it's like 26,000 characters. And that's going on every request, on every prompt. before you even put in your own system prompt or anything else. So you can already, you think, from my experience, you can use easily something around like 20, 30K with it not losing or overseeing too much of what's in the context. That being said, the further you go, the more diluted your context is, because all the conversation you have, everything goes into context, because like on every request, it sends everything that was before, processes it, and gets back. So in the end, you are always, you're ending up with a lot of context, a lot of chats. And for example, if you code something or you write something, every new iteration of the article it's all going in the context. And at some point, it just starts diluting your context, and your answers get more generic. Your answers get like it forgets stuff you've spoken about like 5, 6, 7 messages ago, which just starts to ignore again, because it's the lost in the middle problem, where it just like, because LLMs are really good at remembering what's in the beginning, what's in the end. But if the longer the context gets, the more they tend to forget stuff that happened in the middle. So, and that's all influencing your ability to do useful stuff with it. So when you have long chats and you work on something like text, something like code, like a Python script, for example, at some point it makes sense to start a new chat, get the current result over there, get some description, and like go from there, and you will get back to getting proper answers. So yeah, just a tip for everyone who's interested. Let me quickly check if we have any questions on LinkedIn. No, we don't. Okay, because I can't see LinkedIn in my streaming setup. Okay, cool. Claude 3.5 Sonnet. They didn't call it 3.6 or 4 or whatever. Why that is, I don't know. They easily could have called it 3.6, because it is a huge leap on what has been before. I think we have it here. Yeah. So first of all, announced Claude 3.5 Haiku. I won't talk too much about it because I can't test it. It's still not available yet. At least not in the UI. That said, it's still 3. But 3 Claude 3 Opus was their big, huge, humongous model form, and it's still like expensive as hell, but it's able to do really, really complex tasks like science things and calculations and stuff. So I think someone told me lately that they use it for some protein calculations. Do you call it calculations? But like chemical stuff. So yeah, that's a huge model. And they say, at least that's what I heard, like 3.5 Haiku will be already at the level of 3 Opus, which is like just ridiculous. Yeah, so cool. And then you can imagine like Claude 3.5 Sonnet, especially the new version, is even like a lot better than that, because it's like a larger. Oh, actually, I see. Like, okay. So what they announced. Let's sum it up. So they announced they are 3.5 to a new version. It's not special in particular, because OpenAI does this all the time. They have like when you look at the model releases, they have always a date in there, which is basically which version it is. And they update it all the time. So that's common practice basically. It has a knowledge cutoff from April this year, which is nice. Or one, for example, is like October last year, which is like the knowledge it's trained on. And yeah, they just kept the name. It's now just called 3.5 Sonnet New. But it's hugely improved. We will second. And yeah, like I said, Claude 3.5 Haiku. We'll talk about that one, I think, next week or the week after, when it actually gets its release. And then they have something really interesting that's computer use. And computer use is really cool because cool. Sometimes it might even be scary. It depends how you look at it. They trained a model to use a computer, so it can move your mouse, click, type, and actually like use your desktop. And it does it by taking a screenshot and then deciding what to do next, depending on the task at hand. So yeah, that's that's how they go about this. And they basically trained the vision capabilities of 3.5 Sonnet to better, like they have a special pipeline to better recognize screenshots. And because that's not a new solution, there were solutions out there, but they really struggled on where to actually click and then put the mouse to the right spaces, because like you have a lot of variables, you have different screen sizes, you have different pixel counts and stuff. So that's something that actually is really hindering models to get proper and consistent outputs. And also this is like really experimental. I really want to show it live on stream, but I wasn't able to set it up for today. So we'll stay tuned on that. It's actually, maybe we can start the video. Because it had even some odd behavior. So here what they are showing is, let me make it big quickly. Please fill out the vendor request form using the data in the spreadsheet. That's basically what they do. And then he sends the prompt, and Claude does a screenshot. And then he notices, okay, I can't find this contact in my spreadsheet. It goes over to the open up CRM. I think they built just something up. Searches for the contact, gets the contact info, and then like takes the mouse, goes over to the form, and fills out the form. So that's fully autonomous, if you want. And found it kind of cool. And they also showed like programming stuff and really how you would imagine like the AI looking at the screen and deciding where to click next. It's a lot of tokens you use for that, because like you burn through all the image analysis tokens. But yeah, I will definitely try it out because it's really interesting. And I don't let it run on my machine. I will let it run on a virtual machine, which is kind of kept by itself. We'll have internet access though, so if it hacks something, no, Alec, just joking. But it had one quirk where they were giving it a coding task, and like in the middle of the coding task, it started up opening Google and Googling Yellowstone National Park, which was kind of odd because like there was no actual like connection to the task it was doing. So that shows like this is like really experimental, really early use. They have a complete starter kit, so a demo application. If you want to try it, it's on GitHub, and you can basically spin up a Docker container. I think they even spin up the VM for you. They have a version where they spin up a VM for you. I'll have to check this out. Yeah, test it out. It's really, really interesting. Let's go to some numbers, shall we? So 3.5 Haiku. I think they don't have the big model here, right? But you see, like through every benchmark, it's beating out Claude 3.5 Sonnet, the old version, and some benchmarks even considerably. Like if you go to a high school math competition, zero shot. Zero shot means they have a chain of thought, but like the zero shot means you only have like one try, and it got up from 9.6% to 16% of solved problems, which is kind of huge. And they have another huge improvement on agentic behavior, because like they have an agentic use. It's called Tower Bench, where they have basically a retail scenario and an airline scenario, and the airline scenario got up from 36% of correct answers to, or correct answers, not the right one, but correct executions, up to 46%, which I found really, really interesting. They have a retail example which got from 62% to 69%. So I think the leaps show that it's not like a completely new model, but it's better through everything basically. And yeah, it's really cool. They don't have O1 Mini in here though. Would have loved to see like O1 and O1 Mini. Would have loved to see the comparison, because I get why they didn't do it, because it's like a bit of a different model. It's a different paradigm of using LLMs. But yeah, in the end, GPT-4o is in here and is beaten through everything basically, while the performance was comparable before. So yeah. Like that a lot. Gemini only beats them and beats them considerably on this math benchmark, which I can't tell you what's in there, but it's math problem solving. Gemini 1.5 Pro seems to be good at it. Cool. So let's go on. They have one really interesting topic they basically showed. I'm not sure if that's in the blog post. No, but they I think it might even be a paper from them. They showed basically truthfully that if you use AI models or LLMs to have a behavior, like this agentic tool use airline, for example, like I think it's an AI that does baggage claims, stuff like that. Would maybe we take a look at the tower bench at some point in the future. And you have one scenario, it gets the scenario right at a certain percentage. The more scenarios you get, the lower the score gets, and that's basically for every LLM out there. So this means the consistency in the execution, like 46% is still nothing you could deploy in production, like, because it gets more than half of all the executions wrong, right? I think you're closer with close to 70% on retail, but still you see like agents and agentic usage, we are still not completely there, and you still and the more complex the case goes, and the broader it is, the more you run into problems. And is it unsolvable? No, but you need to put in more work. You need to put in more rules. You need to really get the atomic parts of your task and what belongs to it. Get every agent its own responsibility and have something that orchestrates everything. So there's still some way to go before these systems are easy to build, and that's why I'm especially interested in how good the agents of the Copilot will work, because there is still limits to what we can do with these systems. Cool. Yeah, that was Claude 3.5 Sonnet and computer use. I'm really surprised how good 3.5 Sonnet is. I had one. Actually, that's a cool little case to show what AI can't do today. It was something I thought it might do, with no issues at all. I had it's not a perfect prompt. I did this live with a potential customer on the phone, and he was like, "Yeah, we need to come up with a system that checks phone numbers." And I was like, easy peasy. I even spun up my local OLAMR and was like, I can use a model on my system, no issues at all. And then I started using smaller models and was like, okay, this didn't work. And then I get to GPT-4o. I started with 4o Mini and then get to 4o. And again it got this wrong. The task was, okay, this is a number in our perfect format. And this is the string we have, because that's something the number is wrong because someone typed in 2 zeros by accident, and they also have like that's basically that's the number, and you can type it. You can dial it with a 0, or you can dial it with like. And like I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like an endpoint to route through, like it's a routing number to the actual person in the company that you are calling. And this basically means you have two numbers. This is like a case which they came up with on the phone. And I tried hard to get this, but it actually didn't really understand that these are two numbers and that the last part just has to be exchanged, like, and not added. And the only model that was able to do this was actually Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And then I tried, I think, Haiku and like this, this is the right solution. Like, it got one with the 311 at the end and one with 312 at the end. So they get it. Why? And then I talked to my brother. My brother is working on AI for big companies, and he's a mathematician and really like just a smart person overall. And he was telling me that the issue is that the numbers would need to be tokenized by themselves, and they will be tokenized in like pairs, in random pairs. So that makes it especially difficult for the AI to get this right, to first of all read the format, and then also to understand what it is working with that string. And I found it interesting. I will solve this, and I will find a prompt to make it work. Smaller model too, because you have to imagine like a large database of phone numbers you have to go through. You won't do this with the expensive, quote unquote, expensive model like Claude Sonnet, right? You want to have Claude 3.5 Haiku, for example. We will test this out as soon as it's available. Or something like GPT-4o Mini to do this. Or even like a Llama 7B, which you can run locally. It didn't work. Llama was awful. Phi 3.5 from Microsoft was awful. The results were completely useless. And even GPT-4o. I didn't try O1 Mini though. Oh, we can do this. Let me have a quick. Let's be fair. Let's take exactly what we prompted Claude with. I think it was exactly the same. One thing I don't like with the O1 models, it didn't get it right. Like, not even close. This is an example. Yeah, it just doesn't get it. It's interesting. And this one is thinking. Okay, I didn't want to do it, but let's try the big guns. Let's see what it does. Thinking, refining numbers, pulling and formatting, determining the area code. Are these like, if using O1, seeing this like thinking process, I find it kind of interesting. You could even see what it's actually doing here, breaking down the number, and that's the thought process before it gives you an answer. Of course, this takes longer. It's really a new paradigm. It's like, it's not meant to replace 4.0. But it's meant to do other things like planning, like calculating. For example, I started using it like always when planning. Still got it wrong. It's amazing how difficult this seems to be for an LLM. And kudos to Claude that they were able to do it. So definitely found something that's not easy for an LLM where I thought it easy. But what I wanted to talk about actually was what I did with the one yesterday, because that was kind of nuts, because I had to have PDF processing for documents and for Timeless AI. And we went weeks to try to get this to work, extract images and stuff, to 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 be able to process the file how we do it, and we need basically the PDF in all its layout and everything in text format. Well, and then this was half a year, like 9 months ago, and I've learned a lot and done a lot since then. And I started just asking why PDF is such a tricky format, because I just wanted to know, and it got me a really good explanation. I really understood what this is all about. And then I said okay, you said pre-processing, never heard about this, let's do this. And in the end, it took it an hour or something, which took us weeks before to get. Still fell back to Adobe services for PDF processing. Now I don't need them anymore, because now I have a Python script generated by O1. And to be fair, I had also some help from the new where is it? Requesting code review. Yeah, I also had some help from this, because O1 gets stuck at some point. At least I thought it was my error in the end, but I thought it got stuck, and just posted everything I had into Claude, and Claude was like, yeah, here's the corrected code, and it worked well. It worked really well, and now it still has some quirks, which I found out yesterday, but I didn't have time to keep going with that, and I will actually take this new thing as an API. Also, I think I will open source it too. I will open source it to everyone who needs document processing for PDF, because this is like an LLM generated piece of code, which works actually pretty well. Gets also the images and proper resolutions out there, and really like this, because I was relying on Adobe services, which are paid at some point, of course, and I would love to have more control over what's going on there. Another way to do it, by the way, I found this. I think Marker, was it? Yeah, Marker is a public library. It's also not that old. I think it's 5 months ago or something. And this is working really well. I executed this on my MacBook Pro with the M3 Max, and it does 1,000 documents, 1,000 pages of a document in 8 minutes or something. Also extracts images and extracts text and creates a markdown file. Worked also really well. If you need some more sophisticated library, they train their own models and stuff, you can have a look at Marker. It's public. You can use it for yourself. I'm not sure about the intricacies of the GPL 3.0 license. Yeah, you can look this up or read the whole license. That's about document processing. And after using that, I tried just for testing O1 and because I'm still learning how to prompt O1 properly, and also testing Claude 3.5, the new version. Yeah, we get some pretty good results. Cool. A lot of talking. Let's jump into some conclusions and reorganize. Yeah. So last week we were talking about swarms, and I had this general concept where this was the general concept of the swarms, and I thought about something that goes a bit deeper and creates a plan for me, because the goal was still to have a personal voice assistant who does take a voice input, executes functions, and basically creates tasks, manages tasks, so you don't have to do a lot with it, and also is able to browse the internet, do research, and in the end, at some version, execute code in also a closed environment. which is something I'm still looking forward to, because this would make it able the personal assistant can create new agents and execute them, which would be pretty neat. For V1, we said, okay, we want to have a web interface with voice input. We want to show the results from our, we have the conversation going, and this conversation has to show basically what is deriving from the conversation in real time, like somewhere on the side or something. And there's some web-based research and task management, like create plans, different task types, and also some tasks that are like, I think about this like as human tasks, AI tasks, and with human tasks, the AI waits basically for feedback from the human, or uploading a logo or something, for example, and before it goes on with processing the requests. And also like some SQL executions for just getting data or writing data to a database. So that was the general idea. Then we came like on that stream, like this was the first stream in the row of 4 that we had now, like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago then. And we came up with just really simple interface. And then after that in the week, they released the Swarms library, which is an AI agent framework, which has the general concept of like you have a user makes a request goes to kind of a project manager AI, which has then the ability to decide where to forward the request to. And they had this like flight or like airline agent example where the triage agent, that's how they called it, was checking if the request is about lost baggage or about flight modification. And if it's about flight modification, the flight modification agent had a function and cancel, which basically were the 2 things that it could execute. After it executed everything it thinks it needs to execute, it gives back the result to the triage agent, and the triage agent is getting back to the user. So that's like the basic concept. And we then took our idea and tried to see like how would an agent swarm actually look like when we work on it. You see, like I also put triage agent, and needed we needed some planning agent to actually do the task creation. For example, I say I want to buy a new car. Let's take some example here. I want to buy a new car. So the request would be a new car. A triage agent goes ahead and says, okay, it's a new car. We need to research stuff and need to see like what we have to take into consideration. So then it goes ahead and activates the research agent first, and searches just for like typical things you have to look at when you buy a car. And then the triage agent takes back the information from the research agent, goes to the planning agent and says like, okay, make a plan on what to execute to actually get the right, guide the user to buy a car. So the planning agent would fill up the task DB, and then we would have some task-related agents which can revise tasks, which can discuss tasks with the user, that's basically the idea. And that's what we talked about last week. So and I learned some lessons. I just wanted to re-instantiate that. So one lesson I learned is like, forget your old thinking. I always find myself in this kind of linear pattern which you used to program in and do stuff in. From there, now getting more into a circle pattern, or like not even a circular, but you have like triage agent, you have the user, you have different parts talking to each other. So you have to think more of a network of information processing units which talk to each other. So, that was like one of the first learnings. I had to forget my linear approach because the first stuff the first approach on testing swarms was basically I do the research, I do the engineering, I do the testing, I get back to the user. And then I was like, no, that's not how it's meant to be. It has to decide autonomously, like, where are we at and where we need to go, and therefore even like at least become agentic. Because what does agentic mean? Like, it needs agency. It needs to have responsibility to decide stuff on its own, right? And execute in the frame you hand it over. So yeah. Another learning was like, these agents, they have to be like as atomic as you can create them. Like, narrow down your agents, because it first of all forces you into breaking down your problem even further. So because if I want to buy a new car, you oftentimes don't really think about what considerations go into that, right? Do I need a family car? Do I want a sports car? Is it my first car? Is it my second car? Like, some of the things you know intuitively, but if you hand this over to a system, it doesn't know these things. So it has to, and you have to account for that, because that's I called it in a post lately, like the valley of ambiguity, where you basically have all these, like, you have a query, you have a search query, you have a request, and there's a lot of stuff lying behind that. And that's what makes it so difficult, and that's what's making language so like precision lacking, basically, is exactly that you have to go ahead and you have to then try to figure out what is the actual meaning. Like, I want to buy a car, but what the question should have been is like, I want to buy a family car for and I have 3 children, so I need a big one, and I want it to be electric, and like, so that's like, I think you get it, like, and to figuring this all out and to taking this into consideration and to have it autonomously be able to take in a really ambiguous request and make something from it, like, that takes a lot of planning, and you have to think about like the actual use case you're in and what parts could be helpful to solve this, and to and a solution is always to ask back, like, ask the user. Like, the example I built, I was just like creating a to-do app, and then the system was researching what a to-do app looks like, and it got back to me like, hey, this is what we researched. How would you want to have it? Like, which of these features do you want to have implemented in there? And then I gave it some feedback, and then went back to work, basically, and handed the feature sets over to the engineering agent, and then the engineering was done, and then it handed over the engineering results to the test agent, which then was creating tests. So, like, that's like, you have to have all these small parts working together, and they will be less error prone when you narrow them down as much as possible, when you break down your problem. And the better you do that and the more specific you get, the better the solution is, the cheaper it can get, the more precise it can get. You can use, for different agents, you can use different models. You can even use fine-tuned models which are specialized for a specific task. All these kind of things. And make it as I call it atomic responsibilities. Like, make your responsibilities atomic. And that's basically leading into like, let's create a plan. Do not expect the system to give you an answer right away. Give it some headroom for planning ahead before it actually answers you. That is key. And that's basically what one is trained for, right? It's going ahead, it's starting to think, and thinking stuff through leads to better results. And that's why if you have tasks, they go into an agent system, let the agent system plan first, execute later. Like, maybe do some research before you do the plan. That's how humans would do it, right? And keep safety in mind. I got this thing to create files on my system with code, with executable code. It could have done basically some really malicious Python code executed, and I could reinstall my whole computer. be really careful with that. Like, it does not have to be malicious. It just has to take wrong turns, because all these agents, they're talking and they trying and iterating and executing functions, and it's happening so fast that you will not keep up. And so doing this, keep safety in mind, deploy guardrails, deploy security agents, and define critical processes before before you execute them, and see where could be potential downfalls of the system. Yeah, keep that in mind. It's I think it's highly important. Okay, that was last week. For this week, I have something not to announce, but something I'm working on. And like from these ideas we just talked about, I derived something which I need for myself, or want to have for myself. And I tested out the OpenAI real-time voice functionality, and conversations are a lot better now. And what I miss is some specialization. Means I can say it like, hey, welcome, please be a business coach. And then it tries to inform me about businesses and stuff, but it's still, like always with AIs, if you don't like specify enough and you're not precise enough in what you're talking about, you're basically giving away a lot of really good, really valuable information, and you will only get generic answers. So what I want to do is now having some small agentic framework which is just able to have 2 steps. Also, first of all, let's like, the project is a dynamic AI mentor, and this is meant to be able to do some mentoring on a level where you have to think about it more like, I have something I want to achieve, and I would love for someone to like not only hold you accountable, but like someone to talk to. Like, imagine having someone who is set up properly to help you reach your goals, who understands your personality, and who researches the right things to give you the right answers, and all these little things. And so we basically will have 2 steps, which I think it's like, the first is like the setup conversation, and then we have like goal sessions, or like I'm not sure about how to call it, but these basically, like these are meant to set up your mentor for the AI to create let's call it a cheat sheet with all the necessary information about how to help you reach a specific goal. This will be like open, so you will have the ability to edit this. But yeah, you set up your mentor for the AI to create a cheat sheet with all the necessary information about how to help you reach a specific goal. Sorry. And then you will have basically your goal sessions where your mentor is then set up, and you will have memory, like long-term memory. So it will remember all things that you talked about before, but every session will be, it's like a new session. Like every conversation you start will be a new session where you can discuss whatever. It will update current goals, and we'll just talk. Like it has to be like, it will be voice first. And how do we achieve this? I want to build an agent system. Why an agent system, you ask? We could do this with system prompt, you might say, or might think. You could even do a dynamic system prompt, and it will be dynamic system prompt, of course. But what I want to do is to have because there's the conversation agent, which has function calling, and which is like basically the voice interface and for input as well as output. And so it has to be management first and has to have a system prompt, and everything else has to be done by some other system. Or at least that's how I plan it. Because like I said, atomic responsibilities, we will have a research agent. We will have a goal update agent. We will have a setup agent, of course, which is also using the research agent, setup agent, and we will have some task management agent, where we could derive tasks from the conversations, right? So, for example, write down your memories, or like make a journal, whatever. And yeah, that's what we are going to put in there, and that's basically like the whole idea, like having you be able to set up dynamically your mentor that you need for achieving your specific goals, and also giving him hints on where to search and where to look for, and maybe having some idea on like whom to follow and whose literature and whose content you like a lot, and then get some information from that content, let it go into the mentor's personality. Also, I'm thinking about doing some research on like personality profiles, so that the mentor can generate a personality profile based on the set address on the conversation of you, and with that personality profile, being able to better answer and find the right words, find the right access to. Like there is a lot of personality tests where you have basically someone's like red, blue, green, or yellow colored, and that has some consequences. So that's the basic idea of the AI mentor, and that's something I will build up, and I will have a demo ready for my on-site gig in Vienna in 2 weeks. And I'm really looking forward to show it to you, and I think we will even test it on stream next week in preparation for the event. Really, it's not even 2 weeks. It's I think it's like 12 days or something. Yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to having this. Also having this available also not only on the web, but also on my mobile phone, and maybe even put into Siri with the like Siri shortcuts or something. Still not finished on that, but yeah, the first version will be a web interface, and then we'll see where we go from there. And I'll definitely will invite some private alpha users to that. So if you wanna have a sneak peek, wanna have a quick look, like 2 or 3 weeks from now, just let me know. And yeah, I think we'll leave it with that for now. I hope you got some good information about Claude 3.5 Sonnet and computer use, also about Microsoft's Copilot agents. I think like the year is not over yet. I'm not sure if we get anything from OpenAI anymore, but we definitely will get a lot from Microsoft still. Microsoft's also bullish on O1 and the voice agent, and I think they will soon integrate this into Copilot too. Really something to look for. Not that I have any specific information, but what makes sense, right? So it will happen. Like Grok today announced that, or like today or yesterday announced that they finally have an API. Like that's Elon Musk's AI. Like Grok was K, not with Q, which is yeah, never mind. But yeah, the Elon Musk XAI company has now an API to their own model. And yeah, I think we're still up for something. I think Claude is fine. We won't get any more from them. Maybe Google will have some announcements still. Not sure. Grok will XAI, was Elon Musk's company, will definitely have something in the pipeline still. We might get some image generation and video models. HeyGen released just a new thing where you can map facial expressions on animations just by recording yourself, which is kind of interesting. It's not the part that I usually look at because they're not as relevant for businesses. If you have something like, for example, customer service, or maybe customer service might be even interesting for video generation. But if you have something like supplier management, like that's not not video generation or image generation or anything. So I leave that to the creatives. We talk about business. Until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for staying with me. I think we had some viewers today. And looking forward to seeing you next time. And goodbye.